Hi, this is episode 4 of Continental Drift Knits, and I'm Lisa, and I'm coming to you today from Melbourne. Yeah, this is Lisa. This is editing Lisa. It's another week since I recorded the podcast, but I have managed to edit it now and I'll get it up today. And of course, the world moves on and things happen, and we head to New Zealand on Sunday. And the Queen passed away. And I'm a bit sad about that today. So I just wanted to acknowledge that there's been a week between recording and posting, and that I hope you enjoy the podcast I've got for you, and hopefully in another week or so I'll do another one. Okay, see ya. Have a good day. Think there for a minute. Melbourne in Australia. So we've been here 2 weeks, I think. And I'm sitting in my bedroom at the moment. We have a house here that my son lives in, and it's a bit of a family home, so they all come back down and visit when we're here. And we managed to pack up everything in London. I'm sitting in Woollies. I'm going to show you I'm wearing an unfinished object, and I'm wearing an older completed item, and then my green Ranunculus underneath that. So I hope it all goes okay. I'm over jet lag. Finally, it took us over a week. I was just trying to think so the last time we talked, we were in London. I was just packing up, ready to go. By the way, I've gone back and I've put all of the show notes in to the description box, either down below or to the side, depending on what you're listening on or what you're watching on. So I've put all the show notes in with all the links to everything I talked about, and I'll try and I will definitely do the same. I felt very guilty about not doing the same here. Also, I will update, so on Instagram, on Continental Drift Knits on Instagram, I have up in the top highlights, and I have episode 1, 2, 3, and I'll put 4 in. And in that, I put some pictures up of the things that I've talked about. So sometimes that's a bit easier to get the gist of what might have been talked about. So I hope I'm looking at the camera okay. I might just double check because it's a new setup. Yep, I'm pretty much happy I'm looking in the right spot. So I've got to remember to do that and not look at myself. So that's fine. Today I'm going to talk about... I've only got one FO. I say one only, but that FO wasn't even taught. Well, I was swatching in the last episode and I finished it on the weekend, and I'm sort of like, oh, that was a frenzy. I tend to knit a lot when I'm a bit anxious or stressed, and that's because everything else is out of control, and so it's the thing I can keep doing. It's rhythmical, and I just keep doing it over and over and over again. But consequently, I don't have a lot of brain power for really complicated stuff, so stocking stitch is just fine. As you can see, my grandson has given me a lion band-aid for a finger I scraped, and it's really annoying because I'm a right-hand English knitter, and that's been a bit of a pain. So yeah, I'm having to be adaptive. Actually, it's not too bad knitting this, but it's not great knitting my Cumulus tee, which you'll see a bit later. So I've got my notes in front of me so I don't forget what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, we flew to Australia. We left London. We packed up. We said goodbye to our house. Seems a bizarre thing to say, but we've spent 5 years there. It wasn't renovated when we moved there for 60 years, and so we know every inch of the place. It was also us saying goodbye to London as a place to live, and for all my friends and family friends over there. We'll come back and visit. It's okay. So that's fine. But it was interesting because I I didn't feel a lot of emotion. There was no feeling really sad or feeling really happy and excited for what we're doing. I just felt nothing, and I actually think that's a bit of burnout or a bit of fatigue creeping in, because it was just a case of next step, what's next, and it's still a little bit like that, because we're just visiting family in Australia, and we really haven't even got to see all of our family, even parents yet, and that's pretty much because as soon as we got over our jet lag, our lovely grandchildren gave us a cold. So Daryl and I have had really bad colds. He's had it much worse than I have. Not COVID. We have tested a number of times. I think I've tested myself 3 times. Oh, surely this is COVID. But no, it wasn't. It was just, I think the boys were tested and they came back with rhinovirus, which is a cold virus. And yeah, so we've had no energy and just been largely around home, and then the last 2 days caught up with the grandsons and babysat one of them because he was not allowed to daycare because of his runny nose. And so that's what we've been doing. But this is a knitting podcast, so on with the knitting. My cup is an Emma Lacey every day, and it's she's in North London, and it's one of my prized possessions. Heaven help the grandchildren if they break it. No, not really. But I won't be deliberately putting it in their way. I've got 2 of them. One of them came with me in my bag, in my handbag actually, because it was the very last thing I packed up. So yeah, I really like that. I love that the thumb hold. Yeah, so cool. I enjoy it. Just got black tea, black builder's tea. Unfortunately, I can get Yorkshire here. So the first thing I want to talk about is, actually I'll talk about this first because I'll take it off. So we're in winter. It's the very first day of spring here, meteorological spring. It's between 9 and 14 degrees here at the moment in Melbourne, Australia. They're very sick of their winter. They're very over it. They really want some sunshine and some non-rain days and some spring times. But that's coming. It's just taking its time. So they're all feeling a bit desperate, and I can't complain because I've had a nice warm summer. But I'm in my Woollies, and someone on the podcast asked me about I'm going to say it's a Vika shawl. I did it in Pegulhal. I don't know whether I've screwed that up completely, but it's Rosa Pomar 4-ply, and it's got a fantastic band of, I was going to say cable, but it's like you pull a stitch across into the middle each time, and yeah, it was a little bit of a fiddle, but it was fine. One thing I will say, I did this on 3.75 millimeter needles, and I've got, I'll link it on Ravelry, and I'll link to my project on Ravelry. I think it took about 4 balls of Pegulhal. I think they're, actually, what are they? I've got it written down. I've got all my notes up. Pegulhal is, yeah, 50 gram skeins, about 220 meters. So definitely fingering weight. One thing I will say is I think it's felted slightly, so it's very rustic. But I actually adore it. It's quite big. So it goes out to there and then out to, so it's bigger than my wingspan. I really like some of the detail in the pattern. It's an Isabel Kramer pattern. A bit hard to tell what that's doing. So, but you've got a rib band. You've got an edging stitch up that side, And then this is all stocking stitch. So there is a fair bit of purling in it. Purling never bothered me. Purling never bothered me anyway. And that's the back side of it, which is quite nice. So I really, really like this. I think I'll get a lot of wear out of it. I'll just sort of wrap them around like that. Wear it. And just wear it like that. But it's quite rustic. It's not a super soft yarn, but it's very warm. It reminds me a lot of the Shetland yarns. It has a lovely two-tone about it. So it's got red, oranges and yellows in that. So that was a really nice knit, and I'd knit it again. I probably would actually try it in a slightly looser gauge, maybe even a 4mm. I know I'm pushing it. It would be quite open and drapey, but I might try it. Or in maybe a superwash, but it's not as warm. Superwash is definitely not as warm. Yeah, so that's my first project I wanted to talk about. That was living here, and I finished that just before my last trip to Australia, and about 10 weeks ago, I really enjoyed doing that. It's really good. So that's, I'm going to say Pegulhal by Retrosaria Palmer, and I got that at Wild and Woolly in London, but lots of places stock it, and you can get it online in a number of places as well. My Ravelry name is CDK Podcast, and you can look up all my projects there, but I'll also have links in the description box for you. The second thing before I show you this Ranunculus, is my Miles shirt jacket. So as you can see, I have just finished the sleeves this about 10 minutes ago. I've done both of the sleeves, and what I did was I finished 2 plaits. So they come in, if you remember, they come in these plates. And basically I finished 2 plates. When I finished the plate down here, I decided to do, oops, I'm losing stitches. I decided to do my sleeves first. Someone suggested this, and I thought it was on a podcast actually. It might have been Rebecca from the Crowbar or Laura Penrose, I can't remember. Talked about doing your sleeves when you haven't finished your body. So you've connected under the sleeves, so you can do the sleeves. And actually, I'll just put it straight on the needles. Yeah, so you've connected the under the arms, and you're right to do the sleeves. So I've just put this on a, what do you call it? Start with B. I've forgotten them. The barber cords. Barber cords are struggling a little bit on 6mm needles to hold on and pull through. Oh, actually no, it struggled more on the Cumulus T, which was 3mm needles. It was a bit thick for that knitting for olive silk. Sorry, I just do have to get this. So basically I've just finished 3 plates, and I'm XL. I'm about a size 5 on her thing. So it looks a bit weird at the minute. It hasn't got its collar, it has a stand-up collar and bands, and it has curved hem and pockets. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's very warm. It'll be quite nice in New Zealand, I think. So that's again linked to my Ravelry. All right. So, and that's in the Manchelopi yarn, and that's available at Tribe Yarns in London and Wild and Woolly in London. So really interesting to work with. I've got a burning question for that later on. We're going to have a section called burning questions. I've got 2 burning questions. So if anyone else has used it, I'd be really interested in answering that question. But again, my miles, it's knit on 6mm needles, and I've got 6 plates. I don't think I'll go through 6 plates. I think I'll kill it at 5. I can't see how I could possibly go through 6. We'll see. Maybe there's more to it than I'd imagine. But it's crop length now, so I've just got to do probably down to my hips, and then you start the curves, and then pockets and bands and collar. But I can't see that taking more than 1 plate. Pockets, bands, and collar, I can't see taking more than 1 plate. So interesting. Yeah. So and that pattern, the Mile shirt jacket, is by Ozetta, Hayley at Hayley Smedley, and the yarn is by Wool Dreamers, and they're in the Manchego region of Spain. A very interesting story, and lots of interesting information about them around. So that's the Mile shirt jacket. That's a whip, and I realised we should be doing FOs, but I had that on, so that's fine. So the next thing is the FO of my Ranunculus. It's my very first Ranunculus. I've done it. I did it on 6mm needles. I did it in 1 strand of Kalinka linen and 1 strand of Knitting for Olive pure silk. And I'll go and get a couple of bands or things to show you. Knitting for Olive pure silk. But yeah, so basically those 2 held together for the whole thing, except for the little bands. I did 2 rows. So my mods were no sleeves. So I did I think it was a size 5, 6mm needles. Just did it. That was just the yoke. I think I did 2 or 3 extra rows through here before, because I misread the pattern, which was fine. And actually that's just given me a bit more room, and it's supposed to be really big and boxy and oversized, so that's fine. And then I just did 2 rows of just the linen, 2 rows of just the linen on 5 or 5.5mm needle, 5mm needles, and I just did a cable cast off. It just got all too hard to figure out anything, and I got too lazy. So that's worked quite well. I knit till I ran out on the band. I knit till I ran out in the body, and then I just knit the band in just the linen. So I'll give you a look at the actual fabric, because it's really lovely colour. It's a great marling effect. It's a really lovely marling effect. This will not be my last Ranunculus. It's great. It's so soft. Oh, it's just slinky. And I'm not sure if that's the linen or the silk, or just the combination. I think the linen's crunchy, but it's crunchy, but it's crunchy, but it's also silky, like it slides off. And I would actually recommend, if you're knitting the kalinka, to consider doing it on wooden needles. I was using my Chiagoos, and I found it really hard on my hands. So if I had thought of doing a single strand of either the kalinka or a single strand mohair one, just as something to crunch up in my bag and have on. And I think I'd really love to do that, but I'm not sure I'd do it on the 6mm Chai Goose. I think that would be quite difficult. So yeah, interesting, but I love it. I really, really love it. I knit on it fairly obsessively until I got to the ribbing, because I needed to then change needles and I didn't have my needles with me and different things. So I waited till I got here to finish it off, and I think I finished it last weekend. So really happy with it. I will get a lot of wear out of this, and I was worried it was going to be too heavy, but I think it's so loose, and because it's silk and linen and not woolen fibre, I think it just lends itself to being quite a good summer weight. Although I think rather than summer, it will be an in-between season, like now, inside to wear. I keep yawning. I'm sorry, it's just me. We're a bit fly blown at the moment. We're going to New Zealand Sunday week, so the 11th of September. I forget when I am. We're going on the 11th of September, and we're flying over to Queenstown, and I've booked us a service department for a month, because there's very few properties available, and I don't know the broader area well enough. I've been to Queenstown, but places like Arrowtown and Frankton and Fernhill and Jacks Point, I'm just not sure contextually where they are and how long a drive it is, or what buses service the area, or those sorts of things. So we want to go, and we want to have a good drive around and a good suss out what we might be able to get for what price. So we're looking for something furnished, so it is still ski season, and so there's very little amount of that available, but there are more coming on the market as we go along. So I'm hopeful we'll get set up in September, if not early October, and I'll come to you from there next. You never know where I'm going to come to you from, hence the name, Continental Drift Knits. Okay, so what else did I want to have a look at? We've talked about the Ranunculus, we've talked about the Vika, we've talked about the Miles shirt jacket. So the next thing, I haven't done much on my socks. I am enjoying the deconstructed fade. The latest one I'm doing has this, it's not that one, it's this one. It's really lovely. Oh, bit of a colour theme going on here. Do you get green is my favourite colour? So, but we're heading into some lovely duck egg blues and greens here. So I'm not sure where that one heads. It gets quite light. Let's see. Ball, we get into quite a blue. Loses a lot of the greens. So they're from Shirley Bryan Yarns. I've talked about them in the last couple of podcasts. I haven't done any more heels and socks, haven't had the energy. I think probably after the Miles shirt jacket, I am actually casting on a cardigan, so that'll be interesting. But I am going to just step back a little bit and do a few more whips that I have just sitting around, and I need to do. There is some nice crochet whips that I have that I would really like to get on with, and I think I'll do a crochet. I'm not sure whether to just insert crochet into the existing podcast, or whether to put a crochet podcast together. Not sure. If you have an opinion, let me know. Okay, so they're the socks. The other thing that I've been working on, which is sort of usurped the socks a little bit, is my Cumulus tee, which happens to be over here. Sorry. Okay, Cumulus tee. So the Cumulus tee is by Petite Knit, and I saw Inga from Knitting Traditions doing a few Cumulus tees, and I thought, yeah, really no. I wanted a lightweight summer tee. I think I've talked before about the fact that I find lots of things quite heavy to wear, and This one is coming along quite nicely. It's a V-neck tee, it's a raglan, and it's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stocking stitch. So basically I have to go about 20 centimetres past that little progress keeper, that one. And it's just round and round and round and round and round and round and round. I think I'm on my third ball of knitting for Olive. It's quite matte finish, but it's very soft. And I have to take my watch off each time I knit, otherwise I add steps. And some people will say, well, that's good, but it's a bit cheating. So I'm not an avid step keeper, but I do like to see where I'm heading. So as you can see, it's a little bit different. So I would normally knit like this. Okay, but actually it's not too bad at the moment because I'm just keeping it in front of my Band-Aid. But I have actually been experimenting with picking and throwing, and I'm very unco at it. Continental knitting. But as you can see, I'm pretty slow. It's interesting, I can't see a difference in my gauge. And then the other thing I've been concentrating on is trying to increase the number of stitches that I can knit, even English. So actually doing that more than, so I'm actually flicking it around rather than throwing as such. So basically, I know this is in reverse. I'm always fascinated watching people knit. But if I'm concentrating, I have to look. But and I'm holding it up. I'm not holding a natural position. So, oh, it's gone. So that is my Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. It's a very thin fingering weight, so I think it's about 500 meters per 100 grams. So it's quite fine. And I'm on 3 sorry, glasses are going to come out here. 3.25 millimeter needles. It's tiny. Considering I do my socks, oh no, I do my socks on less than 2 or 2. But yeah, really happy with the fabric. Oop, it's a join there, but it'll block out. So it'll be really interesting. Okay, that's before blocking. This changed drastically with blocking in terms of the smoothness of the stitching. I was really happy with it actually. So yeah. So I think I'll have a cup of tea. Get my iPad because I've got my notes on my iPad. Oh, I hope this is not a hopeless case, this podcast. Okay, so Cumulus Tee, yep, socks, tick, mild shirt jacket, tick. Okay, 2 burning questions. One is, the mild shirt jacket wants me to do a tubular bindoff. My friends, I do not know how to sew unspun. I could sew the unspun on my Forager because it was held with a silk mohair strand, and so as you pulled through, the silk mohair strand sort of grabbed the unspun and it all went through together. This is just 2 strands of unspun held together, and I cannot sew it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. What's the key? So if you've done a tubular bind off or sewn in ends or on the Miles shirt jacket or on any other unspun, not held with mohair strand. I'd be really interested to know how you handled that. That would be excellent to know that. The second question I have, and I'm going to give you a picture up here. I think in my first episode, I showed you the Forager jumper or sweater by Isabel Kramer again. Bit of an Isabel Kramer fan. I love it. I wear it quite a bit. I have noticed, and it's more note to self that I want to try and figure out. So I have noticed that the neck rides up slightly, just moves up. Now it's a contiguous shoulder construction. So that is, you start with the saddle. You basically add increases to create the body stitches, and then you add increases on that side to create the sleeve. I don't know how it works. It's some sort of black magic. So some sort of voodoo. But basically you create the sleeve stitches and the body stitches based out of the saddle shoulder from increases. There's something I need to do, and I'm not 100% sure because I don't quite understand the construction. I think I need to make the saddle longer, I think, before I create the sleeves, because if you think about it, as I do that, it's sliding up and then it's sitting there. So that to me says my shoulders are not long enough, but I don't know whether I'm right. So you'll see a picture, I think it's a picture. If I can do actually if I do a little video, I might do a little video and you can see, to see how it goes. But I'd be really interested if anyone understands the contiguous shoulder construction, where I need to adjust in order to make this something a little bit small. I think that's why it's riding up and sitting there. So it's just very slight, and I would just like it because I'd love to make that pattern again. And I think I need to understand why to make the modifications for my body particularly. So yeah, I think that's what I need to understand. So they're my two burning questions. Burning question one is the Tubular Bindoff with unspun. How do you do it? Is anyone got a YouTube video or any where I can see it being done? And the second one is the Forager neck. So it's developed from the contiguous sleeve construction, and I need to understand that so that I understand how I can modify it slightly for my next one. I got my hair done yesterday. It's 8 months since I had my hair done. My hairdresser, I can walk to my hairdresser from here, and we're about an hour and a quarter away from where we used to live. And my hairdresser from where we used to live, from our kids were at the same primary school, and she's moved down here as well. So now I can walk to her and have my hair done. How good is that? How amazing. So yay, Jodie. So so two burning questions. So if you've got answers, I'd love to hear your comments, or if you haven't done that construction before, just what you think from a pattern construction perspective it might be. What I'm thinking of, a couple of other things I wanted to ask about. Cowl management, knit along. Okay, KAL is knit along, CAL is crochet along, and MAL is make along. How do you manage them? So I get all excited. I see them on podcasts. I go, oh, that'd be so good. Love to get involved, the community. And then I forget about them. So what I've just started doing is I've just actually started to write down all my mals and cowls. and who's running them. I should put down their dates too. But yeah, so what I think I'll do is I think I'll put the hashtag into the body of the, put the hashtag into the tag of the Ravelry project. But also is just check my projects at the end to see whether they fit any of the projects that anyone I watch or interact with is doing at the moment, and maybe pop them on their sites. So Grocery Girls are doing a sweater weather mail. Hohees, I'll talk about Hohees in a minute. Finished Knitting Stories is doing a Happy Scrappy blanket mail. Skeins of Dreams is doing a Blankets of Dreams mail. Big Little Knits, I always get that wrong, sorry Selma. Big Little Knits, Little Big Knits? Oh, now I'm confused. Is doing, no, it's Little Big Knits. I was right the first time. Is doing an LBK, Little Big Knits, Connections mail, and is about to start an Unspun Heroes cal. So that Miles jacket, shirt jacket's going in that. So how do you manage your mails? Do you join them? Do you not join them? Are you interested? How do you do it? What do you do? Let me know. So I'd love to know. Yeah, I get all excited, and then I go, oh, yay, yeah, I want to do that, I want to participate, and then I forget. And then I can't remember who was the one that was running the one for blankets, or something like that. I am participating though in the Hohe Fall Cal. Sign-ups have closed for that, so you're not able to officially join, but that you're more than welcome to join in and knit along, but you can't officially join for the prizes. I have joined a number of projects in, 3 I think. I'm not necessarily expecting to do all 3, but it's a 3-month cal, but I have joined them just so that it prompts me to do a couple of things. So at least get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Amy cardigan. Now the Amy cardigan is that cardigan there. It's by Hohe. And I can put another picture up there if you like. And I'm going to do this. I discovered this yarn in a bag, and I have had it, I reckon, 10 years, and it's about time I used it. It's so lush. I got it at different times. I think it's not all the same brand, but I've just decided I'm going to try and use it. So it's, I'm going to do, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes. I'm not sure I've got enough for 5 stripes. I've actually got to double check I've got enough for the whole the whole article. So it's alpaca. This is, I don't even know if this is still available. It's 100% alpaca, made in Peru by Blue Sky Alpacas in Maine. Yeah, and it's a suggested gauge, needle size 3 to 5 US. I don't know what that is. Sport weight 50 grams, 100 meters. 100 meters, yeah, so 200 meters per 100 grams. That's the first slot. And I got about 6 of those, I think. Ooh, I just spilled it all. Okay, so anyway, I've got that color. And that's that's Blue Sky Alpaca as well. And then I've got some orange. And then I've got some sort of rust melange. Blue sky alpaca. Yeah, so basically, and I have another color, which is that one, which is that one's a different brand. It's Eco Alpaca by Cascade, and that's 200 meters per 100 grams, so it's about the same weight. I'm in a mess. Okay, so let's see if we can pull this all together. How many colors did I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what I'm not 100% sure of is whether I have enough. So I need to actually double check. But I'm really excited to be able to do that. So it's a sport weight pattern. So I haven't swatched yet, haven't done anything. You weren't allowed to, well, you were allowed to swatch, but I was finishing the linen article and finishing the sleeves on the Miles shirt jacket. So I'm going to start that, and I'm going to enjoy that, doing that. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I've had that pattern for a long time. It's just a V-neck cardigan. I'm just trying to see. Okay, so we need about, say I was about the size 5. I'm going to need about, it says 2 skeins of each different colour. So that's 325 meters. 325 meters by 2 by 5, so 10 lots. So oh god, 3,000 meters. Is that right? Seems like a lot. I'll check it out. That's fine. I'll let you know how I'm going. You can see my progress on Instagram, Continental Drift Knits on Instagram. I do have a CDK podcast on Ravelry. I have an email, continentaldriftknits@cansandco.com. So it's CANNS and ANDCO.com. But that's all down below as well. So you can get me there. Yeah, so the Amy cardigan is one thing. I think I've also, actually I've got it written down. I've also signed up to do the dark cloud sweater, which is a garter sort of style with splits right down the sides. And I've also signed up to do the, what was it? It was a scrappy project that anyway, you use your leftovers, and I'm not allowed to start that till November anyway, so I'll talk about that later down the track. Some of the lovely things I've seen around the internet lately, the Kerr sweater is being designed by Rebecca from Crayabaya. That's got a lovely band of colour work through the body. I adore the OR hoodie. I have to do that one day. It is all over colour work. It would be a major project for me. All over colour work with the hood, including colour work on the hood. I reckon there's a Lento in my life pretty soon. Granito is another one of Hohi's, which has quite caught my eye. Fingering weight, I think. Long line sweater. I don't know that I'll quite get to that one. No frills sweater, a half and half wrap. They're all over the place. I really like the schlanket type look of those. Straw cardigan by Hohi, the Amy cardigan, which I've talked about, and the dark cloud sweater, which I've talked about. So there's lots of things on the radar that I've probably already got. I'm trying to shop the stash. I've been reunited with some of my stash here in Australia. In fact, that Amy cardigan alpaca was in my stash here, and I've brought my most important stuff over. Oh, the spot sweater is another one I'd like to do, and Badger and Bloom as well by Anne Bensel. Yeah, be very interesting. I think at this stage, I'm just going to talk about some acquisitions. I've only got 2 that I want to talk about. And largely because they're either on special or I went back to Beautiful Knitters to get some more of the knitting for Olive. And then I'll just have a bit of a live chat and then we'll be done. So that will be a reasonable sized podcast, I'm hoping. So let's have a talk about the acquisitions. So here in Australia, we have a warm Christmas and we wear t-shirts and sometimes shorts, and we do a lot of eating outside, and we do stupid things like cook turkeys and have plum pudding. And so we have all the English winter traditions mixed in with warm weather summery traditions of barbecue and breakfasts and that sort of thing. So my family on my side have breakfast for Christmas, and every year we all get together for breakfast and we love having breakfast together. And we don't tend to have a traditional Christmas lunch, so we tend to have breakfast, and then if we're going to have turkey, we'll do it with my husband's side, and normally it tends to be an evening thing. So sometimes everybody's had a bit of turkey, and so we end up with turkey leftovers. But that's fine. We've eaten enough. Breakfast is huge. We have pancakes and waffles and eggs and bacon, and we have chia pots and bircher muesli and berries and yogurt and lots of things, lots of yummy food. So, and breakfast is my favourite time. Oh dear, what have I done? Breakfast is actually my favourite meal. So I love having Christmas breakfast, and the kids are all pretty fresh, and we normally get together about 9 o'clock, and the adults look a bit tired, but they're okay. We don't have any expectations. We all just muck in, get it done, and have Christmas breakfast. Where I'm going with this is we don't wear Christmas jumpers. And so the whole festival sweater, Christmas jumper thing I love Christmas jumpers. Oh, my son's just come home downstairs. I love Christmas jumpers. So I was thinking, I don't know whether this is going to work. I was thinking of I bought Ellie from Scandia Knits festival sweater pattern. And I'm going to see if I can hack it for a t-shirt like this. But I'm thinking of using Knitting for Olive silk as the base, and then doing some colour work for the motifs around the yoke. Might do it all over, but I think at the yoke at this stage. In that, what do you think? It's quite subtle, like it's not red, it's not rosy red, and it's not gold, but I thought, I don't know, would it work? Worst that can happen is I rip it out and I'll do a t-shirt in this, but I think it would be fun. So I went back to Beautiful Knitters and I got 4 balls of the Knitting for Olive. So it's Knitting for Olive, pure silk. It's in Dusty Artichoke. And 94942. I don't know whether that's a dye lot or whether that's a colour lot. And I think it's about 100% barrette silk, and it's 250 metres for 50 grams. So it's quite fine gauge if you're going to knit it to a fabric you can wear that's not see-through. So it will take a bit of effort, but I think I might just try it. So I'll try and swatch it in the next, I'll swatch up some bands and see what it looks like and see whether it's a possibility. So I'm quite excited about that. I don't think anyone's ever done that sort of thing before. Knitted festive t-shirts. So it might be eligible for Ellie's make-along. So that was one acquisition. And the other one I got was when I got here. So you know my current obsession with the deconstructed fade sock sets. Becky, I think it's Becky from Shirley Bryan Yarns, was having a sale, and you could order random sock sets for 28 Canadian dollars, I think they were. Her beautiful fades, and I got 3. I love them. I really do love them. So there's that one. That's a seconds. I don't know why it's a seconds. Doesn't really say, but yeah. So they're not repeatable colorways, but that's okay. This one is that's a seconds as well. I'm not really sure why. So they're done up in, I won't undo them, but they're done up in 2 sets. And then that one. How good is that? So rich. Amazing. Love it. So they were nearly half price. Well, not quite half, but 60% of the price that they normally are. So I thought I'd grab 3. Yeah, I love them. So Becky always has stock coming on board, and that's her logo there, Shirley Bryan Yarns. It's just fantastic. It's lovely, lovely, lovely sock yarn. So it's 75% SW merino, 25% nylon, 2 by 230 yard, 50 gram skeins. So they're 2 matching skeins that are wound together, and you basically knit one for one foot and one for the other foot, unless you want to do it differently. So they were all my acquisitions, which is quite enough. I've been reunited with my yarn stash, and I have a lot of old whips and I have a lot of stash. I've applied for testing with the Knit Pearl girl to do her Aosta baby sweater, but I don't know whether I'll get in the test. So if I don't, that's fine. If I do, we've got a number of friends having babies, and so that might be nice if that is a possibility. Don't know where I've put my iPad now, checking what I've done. Yeah, so that was all the acquisitions. We're flying through. And I think I've pretty much told you most things. So we're here, then we go to New Zealand. I think in New Zealand it's still pretty cold. It's still 6, 7, 8 degrees in the South Island where we're going, and but it's really lovely. There's a lovely lake. I'm hoping we can get a view to the lake. If we can't, it'll be because we've got a nicer sort of house, or the 2-bedroom apartment. That's really all we're looking for. And then our plan is to maybe have a holiday and try and relax a little bit, but we'll see. We're not really sure. We sort of go week to week at this point. We've got to buy a car. We've got to get our tax file numbers. We've got to engage accountants. We've got to get mobile phone numbers. We've got to get activate bank accounts. All the usual stuff when you move. And but having booked the flights and booked the first month, I was really pleased to do that yesterday, because that was getting stressful. When were we going to go? When were we going to go? People were asking, and it was like getting all too hard. So we really need to get there, get a place set up, and then we can set ourselves for the next couple of years. Which will be good. So I think that's probably all from here in Melbourne, and I hope you're crafting well. I hope it's not too warm for you if you're in the UK. I know we've got a few watching from Australia, we've got a few watching from the US. I really appreciate everything that you comment on, and when you like and subscribe, that always helps the algorithm and shows me that you're interested in possibly me doing another one. Although I'm not, you know, I do it for myself more so, because I can go back and check things and I can see what I've been knitting on and feel a sense of achievement and a sense of community, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So I hope that's not too cringeworthy, but I do enjoy doing it, and really enjoy the feedback when I get it. So burning questions, remember, if you've got hints on tubular bindoffs for unspun yarn, and what was the other thing? Oh, the forager neck, which I'll put a video of in. I've got some video of the last few weeks in the UK, and also the last 10 days of the UK and the first week or two here. So there's some video footage at the end that you can have a look at. So thanks for being with me today. I'll hopefully be still awake next time I see you, but next time it should be in New Zealand, and I'm hoping to do it in 2 weeks, but we'll see how we go. Seems to be 3 or 4 at the moment, but once we get settled, I think it'll be 2 weekly. It'd be nice to be 2 weekly. I won't feel like I've got too much stuff to talk about. So thanks. Have a great few weeks ahead. Bye.